Hello, this is Tony Heller from RealClimateScience.com, setting the record straight about the national climate emergency. Biden calls climate change an emergency. Let's call this emergency what it is. If Biden proclaims global warming a national emergency, it gives him more power to take executive actions to tackle it. There's no evidence and no rational reason to believe that we're actually having a climate emergency, but that's not what this video is about. The point of this video is that the concept of a national climate emergency is absurd. The whole concept of a climate emergency is based on demonizing carbon dioxide emissions. And the United States does not control the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. China and the rest of Asia have much more control than the United States does. The United States only produces a small percentage of global CO2 emissions, and our share has been declining, even as those from China and the rest of Asia are skyrocketing. The United States could literally drop off the face of the earth, and it would have very little impact on CO2 growth in the atmosphere. So a national climate emergency is meaningless. Even if you believe that carbon dioxide controls the climate, there's nothing the United States can do. So let's look again at what's really going on here. Professor floats idea of climate lockdown with bans on red meat, extreme energy limits. Lockdowns were an idea which came out of communist China, and they were only supposed to last for 2 weeks. We're now into week 33 of the 2-week lockdown. Let's examine now how long a climate lockdown would have to last for. 90% of the world was under some sort of lockdown during the year 2020. And according to the World Meteorological Organization, this had no measurable impact on CO2 concentrations in the atmosphere. CO2 concentrations in the atmosphere have continued to grow at the same rate as they did in the year prior. Climate lockdowns, which lasted for 9 months, had no impact. So how long would a climate lockdown have to last for? And the World Economic Forum has answered that question. They want the lockdowns to be permanent. The American Association for the Advancement of Science says they want rapid, far-reaching, and unprecedented changes in all aspects of society. U.S. CO2 emissions have been declining for 15 years, while those from China have been skyrocketing. The explanations that are being given by government make no sense, but Donald Trump explained what was going on 8 years ago. He said, the concept of global warming was created by and for the Chinese in order to make U.S. manufacturing non-competitive. And 6 years ago, Barack Obama and Joe Biden made this official in their deal with China. The deal was that the United States would keep lowering its CO2 emissions while China's would continue to grow until at least the year 2030. Democratic politicians keep insisting that China is serious about lowering their CO2 emissions, but reality shows the exact opposite. What's actually going on is that China is having a surge in new coal-fired projects. So Biden's national climate crisis agenda is about giving a huge advantage to China while shutting down the American economy. Longtime climate alarmist Michael Schellenberger wrote about this week. Biden climate plan risks putting China and BlackRock before the American people. There is abundant evidence that Joe Biden is the Manchurian candidate and that he was put in place by fraudulent voting. But the nonstop propaganda from the press about a climate emergency has driven half of the country insane. There are lots of people who actually believe the propaganda. C.S. Lewis said, when the whole world is running towards a cliff, a person running the opposite direction appears to be insane. Toto has been running the opposite direction for his entire life. You can visit him and Kyrie on the web at realclimatescience.com.